Hi, this is John from Conferences.io, and I'm going to show you how to project your polling results up on the big screen using our presentation mode functionality and simply toggling back and forth between your PowerPoint slides and the internet browser. So as you can see, I have a couple of poll questions already created here, and this first step is something that you're going to be doing before the actual session. You're going to want to have this set up ahead of time and before you actually arrive that day. And what we're going to do is create our presentation within Conferences.io and sync these polls into my presentation. Essentially prepare this for using presentation mode. Once you've got your poll questions set up, all you need to do is go into your session settings and click this button that says View and Manage Current Presentation. If there's not a default presentation waiting for you in there, you can just go ahead and create a new one. I'm going to call this one Polling Results, and then I'm going to choose a light background for my results. So we've now got our presentation created, and the next thing I'm going to need to do is add my poll questions into this presentation. So to do that, I'm going to hit this button that says Add Custom Slides, and we can see here all the different poll questions that we've created. So you can add these to the presentation one by one just by clicking on them, or you can hit this button that says Sync All Polls to do them all with one click. So what we now see is sort of an overview of our presentation mode, and it's essentially just showing you the order in which your polls are going to be presented. So it reads from left to right, and it's going to put them into presentation mode based on whatever order you created them, in the session page. But just take a quick look through it, make sure that they're in the correct order. And in this case, it's pretty easy. There's just 2 polls. So those look good. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. What I'm now going to do is jump into my PowerPoint and show you a couple of things here that you'll want to set up. The first is we always recommend just having sort of an instructional slide at the beginning of your presentation that displays the Conferences.io URL, some simple instructions for the attendees. What I've also done is I've put in a couple of these placeholder slides that are essentially just a cue to the attendees, and for me that at this point we're going to want to conduct some polling. So I just put in a little slide here that says, okay, it's poll question time and whatever question I want to be asking. And then I've also just put a little reminder of where they should go to participate. So I've done that at a couple of points in this presentation, and so here's the other one. So now, once it's time for the event, you're getting ready for your session, you're in the room, what you're going to want to do is on the computer that is being projected onto the big screen, that may be your own computer that you just plug into the projection, or the event may have provided you with one. But whichever computer that is, what you're going to want to do is, one, pull up your PowerPoint presentation just like this, and then you're also going to want to make sure to access Conferences.io, go into your session, and sign in as the moderator. So I've already done that here, but once you've signed in as a moderator, just go back into your settings, hit View and Manage Current Presentation, and then this time we're going to want to hit Start Presentation. So if you noticed, a new tab popped up here, and this is going to be running presentation mode. So what I can now do is actually put this into full screen mode by using this little button in the bottom right hand corner. And this way it's just going to look really nice and clean up on the screen. It gets rid of all the other browser buttons and tabs and stuff like that. So there's always going to be sort of a placeholder slide at the start of your presentation that looks just like this, so that you can control when you go into the first poll question, right? You may not want it to be available right away. So that's why there's this sort of placeholder waiting slide. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a really simple keyboard shortcut to get me back into my PowerPoint. And I'm using a Mac, so the shortcut on a Mac is Command Tab. On a Windows or other PCs, it's going to be Alt Tab. So, and there are a few different shortcuts that you can do to transition between windows, but Command Tab and Alt Tab are probably the most common. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that, and what it allows me to do is just select now which window or other application I want to switch into. And so I'm going to go back into my PowerPoint, and now I'm going to put my PowerPoint into full screen mode as well, and just the standard way that you would project your PowerPoint during any session. So now we're all set. We're ready to go. The presentation or the session's about to be beginning. So I'll start going through my slides here. Again, we've got this little instructional slide reminding everyone to participate. We're going to go through the first part of my content, and okay, now we've hit the first placeholder slide that I put in there, telling everyone that it's time to do a poll question. So at this point, now all I'm going to do is use that keyboard shortcut again to bring me back into the web browser, which is displaying presentation mode. And I'm just going to head and you can either click this button or just hit the next arrow. But what's going to happen now is it's going to queue up your first poll, and it's actually going to automatically pull the attendees into this question, which makes it super easy for them to participate. So once they respond, we see the results update in real time. This graph will continue to move around and shift around as everyone's responding. And the attendees will also get to see the results on their own device, unless you hid those from them for some reason. So now that we've done our first poll, maybe we've talked about the results a little bit, I want to now go back to my presentation, and I just use that keyboard shortcut again. And now I'm going to go through the rest of my slides here. So I'm going through some talking points, talking about my content, and once I get to my second poll question, my placeholder slide here tells everyone, okay, we're going to do another poll, get ready. This time I'm going to ask, which types of ARS have you used before? So now I'm going to go ahead, Command Tab back into the browser. I'm going to hit next, and it's going to pull up my next poll question. So the attendees again are going to respond. This time we've set it up in a bar chart. The last one was a pie chart. Again, results will continue to update in real time. We take a minute to analyze them, maybe talk about it a little bit. Now we know a little bit more about our attendees and how familiar they are with audience response systems. So at this point, I can jump back into my presentation and continue with the rest of my PowerPoint slides.